Hey guys, what's up? My name is Maddy Jameson. I am a former YouTuber, social media influencer, model, actress, writer. If I could sing, honey, it'd be on the list. But anyways, yeah, so it's been about 2 years since I've been on YouTube. A lot has happened since then. Okay, last time I talked to you guys, I was almost 1 year post-op for my surgery. I was still living with my mom. I was finishing up my GED program and I was getting ready to move to Vermont. Well, I passed my GED. I moved back to Vermont. I got a full-time job at 19 years old as a bartender, just saying. And I started getting a lot more responsibilities. You know, I started paying rent, I started paying these bills, I started having to make doctor's appointments for myself. Just so many things that I kind of started experiencing as an adult that life just really took me for a spin. You know, I wasn't going to college, so the experience was different from my friends who were graduating high school and going to college. You know, I really just jumped into being independent very quickly, very fast. Just things really started to take off for me. And I grew up. One of the things that really happened that were big was I released this article called 12 Things I've Learned in the First Year with My Vagina. And it was a really lighthearted, fun article informing people of the physical and spiritual, emotional changes that I went through after having my surgery and like what I've learned. It went viral. Vermont is such a small community that when I was being introduced to people, they were like, hey, I read your article. So it was really, really crazy that I got a lot of fame very, very quickly in a matter of just days. So it brought a lot of traffic into my Instagram specifically. And with all of this success came a lot of, influence that I had over other people. So my fan base grew and I had a lot more trans youth coming to me, sending all of their love and support. And with all of that came messages of them asking tips on transitioning, asking them what they can do to do this or to make themselves appear more feminine or how they can raise their pitch in their voice. And, you know, it was all fine and I love being that person to help people out. But what happened is that I got all of these goals attached to me. So it was hair goals, it was voice goals. And by the way, I'm sick with a sinus infection, so like my voice. I then had parents messaging me being like, hey, you know, my child just came out as trans, but it's really hard to understand because they're still wearing their boy or girl clothes, or they're still not saying they want to change their name. They're just not taking the steps that it seems they should. There was a lot of, not pressure to be anything, but there was this whispered role that I had of being the poster child for trans youth. I was becoming this example only because I feel like so passable and so like I had it together. I hate the word passing and I hate the concept of passing, but it's something that exists, and it's honestly something that exists when it comes to someone's safety, so we have to address it as a thing that does exist. When I first started to transition, there was this, you know, to-do list designating my role as a woman in society. So it was growing out my hair, it was buying all this makeup, butt pads, bras, inserts, dresses, photoshopping my photos, and all of these things that I wanted cis people to validate my gender so bad that it was only physical and sexist ideas that I had for what it meant to be a woman. I had to take a step back, think about it, and understand that like I was perpetuating these stereotypes. And I think what was happening was I saw Laverne Cox becoming more famous, I saw Janet Mock becoming more famous, Carmen Carrera becoming more famous, and I was becoming more famous, not on their scale, but in my own scale, okay? What did I have in common with Janet Mock, Laverne Cox, Carmen Carrera? We all are examples of high feminine trans women. That's not something that I wanted people to look at me for. They weren't showing people that were a little bit more non-binary, and I wanted to be an example of someone who doesn't have to fit a gender norm. I wanted people to look at me and know me for having the voice of people that are oppressed. I wanted people to look at me for being that person who has the show and tell of their life, the good and the bad. I did not want to be looked at as like, this is what we should try to obtain. And I didn't know what it meant for me to be feminine. What is femininity? What is gender? It bothered me. It's freaked me out. It really freaked me out. So I shaved off all of my hair. Shaved off all of my hair. I stopped wearing as much makeup, and I kind of dismantled what people thought my gender was. And it was like this big project that I did. All of a sudden I became the science project again of what cis people didn't know to make up, they didn't know what to make of me, therefore they got to define what they thought I was just based off of their feelings. Trans women, especially trans men, I really didn't get any like hate from, but trans women were like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, you've worked so hard to get to this place of, you know, being passable. Why would you do that to yourself? Like, you just set yourself back so far. And like, I don't get it. And to answer it, I wanted to rediscover what femininity meant to myself, because for as long as I could remember in my transition, it just meant how I presented to society. But what happens when I take away those things? Because now I'm taken back to a place where people are telling me I'm one thing, a boy, or confused, and inside I'm like, no, I'm a woman. But is femininity just physical? And I had to question myself for that too. And I still, to this day, am still trying to define what femininity means for me. Because I know I'm a woman and I feel like I'm a woman, but I don't always feel like I'm feminine. Sometimes it is my appearance. Sometimes it is putting on that dress and putting on makeup. But like, as you see today, I'm in a button down with my hair up. That's okay with me too. And it's like, I don't really feel as though I'm always super feminine. Sometimes I feel like I have more masculine qualities to me. I don't know. And it's hard to even make this video because I still don't know what gender means for me. I was scared that if I talk about this confusion, then people are just going to go back to telling me like, you have a mental disorder, you're crazy, you don't even know what you are, and that's not what I'm saying. I don't know why I feel like I'm a woman. I don't know. I just do. I wanted to be an example of someone who doesn't have to fit a gender norm. In order to be validated in society, I kind of want to be in between. I wanted people to look at me and just think, and it worked. And it was the best thing I could have done because I feel like I've grown so much from it. But now, as I'm falling back in a binary, I have to remind myself to speak up a lot more. So you guys, as I'm editing this video and I'm playing it back for myself, I realized that I didn't get to the lesson that I wanted to get to. I just heard woman, femininity a lot. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. But what I wanted to say is that gender is not limiting. Gender is not A or B. It's not even C. Gender, and I'm going to get really cheesy here, but this is how I'm going to put it in two metaphors. Gender is like the coffee that you drink in the morning and how you want it. Do you want it with cream? Do you want it with sugar? It's your choice because it's your coffee and it's how you're going to drink it and start your day. You know, gender is the goodies that you put in the brown bagged lunch to take to school. Gender is all of the stars in the sky, and you can believe that there's a star that you're not seeing. Therefore, there's another gender that you may not understand, but you have to believe that it exists and that it's possible. Gender, for me, is what I feel like when I look at myself in the mirror. And it's not even a gender, it just goes back to being a human, and I feel like a beautiful human. It's how I feel when I have the bond between all of my sisters and we're all sitting there laughing together, and I just think, wow,
you know, sisterhood. That's amazing. That makes me feel really empowered as a woman. It's it's how I feel when I'm with a partner. And that's a whole nother story. You guys, I'm not even with a partner. But hypothetically speaking, it's how I feel when I'm with a partner and how our energies bounce back between one another because they're two different energies. You know, you're not with yourself, you're with another type of person. So it's magnetic and you feel it revolve around one another. It's beautiful and it goes to infinity. And that's all. All right. So I hope you guys are having a great day. A happy weekend to those who have it off. And I will talk to you guys soon. I feel like I'm in a really transformative place right now where a lot of things are happening. I'm working my way out of a depression. I'm going to get back on my hormones, which is another whole story to tell, but haven't been on them in probably 2 years. And a lot of big projects are happening. So if you guys would like to welcome me back onto YouTube after ditching you for 2 years, I'd be ever so grateful because I miss you guys a lot and I miss talking. So, yeah, stay safe and I'll talk to you soon.